First, as we start today, I'd like to thank Greg Davis for all he did as offensive coordinator for 13 years at the University of Texas. Greg gave us great moments. We averaged nearly 40 points a game during those times, and a lot of great victories. And he's a good man full of integrity. He and Mack McWhorter and Bobby Kennedy, along with Bruce and Major, have done a tremendous job for the offense here and given Texas fans and myself a lot of joy. They set a very, very high standard. I'm happy that Major and Bruce Chambers will be moving forward with a lot of those great ideas as we start to look at who we want to be offensively in the future. We've already been able to hire a great offensive coordinator in Darryl White from the University of Kansas. Darryl has been a passing game coordinator throughout the country at many good schools, and he also has some expertise that he will bring to our receivers and our staff from his time with the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL. So we feel like that we have a great base for our staff moving forward. I knew from the beginning that Major would be very involved in our offense and as a coordinator or helping in that role. He's done a tremendous job here. He came to us from a coordinator spot at the University of Alabama. He also did a tremendous job when he was leading the offense at Rice before he went over to Alabama. As Major and I started talking about it, it was very obvious to both of us that whatever was best for Texas was best for us. And it's about the players, it's about the fans, it's about winning, it's not about us. We were looking for someone who would move the ball with up-tempo. We were looking for someone who was scoring a lot of points across the country. We feel like we have good receivers and good running backs, so we look for somebody who would be balanced with the run and pass. We look for somebody who would be innovative, fun for the fans to watch, and fun for the players to be involved with. And that usually is very, very difficult to find. What we found is that it kept coming up that the offense that had scored like us and won like us across the country that we always admired and we always studied was the Boise offense. When we started checking further, the name that kept coming up was Bryan Harsin. So next thing we had to do is obviously see if Bryan would be interested, because he is a young man that grew up in Boise, went to high school in Boise, went to college in Boise, went away to Eastern Oregon for 1 year and came back and has been the Boise offensive coordinator for the last 5 years. So the answer to that was yes, Bryan was interested. He liked Texas. The second question, would he and Major be able to have great chemistry and bond and be able to get their thoughts and ideas together and give us the offense that we're looking for. When we brought Bryan in a few days ago, Bryan and Major immediately clicked. They had great chemistry. They've got great energy. In fact, poor Julie was sitting in her car last night when Major went to take Bryan up to his room, and I think it was about an hour and a half before he came back down. So they sat and talked football for that long to get started last night. So they're anxious to get started, and we can't wait to watch what they do. We will bring Bryan's great ideas in from Boise. We'll have the input from Bruce and from Major and from Darryl White, obviously fitting things from the Boise offense into what works best with our personnel. And then we stopped the process of an offensive line coach until we could get Bryan and Major together and start looking at who would fit best in that offensive line coach's position. So I'm proud to introduce to you a combination of what I feel like are the two best offensive coordinators in the country, and they will be working together. First, I will introduce, promoted from running backs coach to co-offensive coordinator. He'll continue to coach the running backs, Major Applewhite, and then he will introduce Bryan Harsin to you. Major?
Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Obviously, extremely excited about this opportunity. This is going to be something that we'll all enjoy watching, fans, players alike. And it all started back when Bryan came in last week, and sitting down and visiting with him. Just extremely excited about where we're going as an offense. I'm extremely excited about our players. I think first and foremost, that's the thing that's always meant the most to me, and in visiting with Bryan as well, are players. Players are what win games, and we're looking forward to getting with our guys as soon as they get back to school. But this is an opportunity for us to put forth a great offense and move the ball, score points, everything that Coach Brown just said. But from a personal standpoint, being a fan of college football as you guys are, one of the most compelling things in college football the last 5 or 6 years has been the success of Boise State and their football program, but specifically their offense. What they've been able to do, moving the ball, scoring points, the multiple approach they've taken to offense, and then being able to do that against quality opponents. So watching that, being a fan of that, being a fan of Bryan's the last 4 and 5 years, watching those things, and then getting a chance to visit with him last week and seeing how he puts it all together, the rhyme and reason behind what they do, and then the success and then the passion in which they coach with. It's more than just X's and O's. It's about a way of doing things. And in visiting with Bryan, you just started to get some glimpse into how they do things at Boise and specifically on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm extremely excited about learning more with Bryan, working with Bryan in that role, and just getting our kids in a position to have success. And that's probably one of the greatest satisfactions of being a coach is when you feel like you've given them something that they can work on and they've accomplished that, and then they're able to go do something on that field with it. So this is a great time for Texas football, not just from an offensive standpoint. The staff that Coach Brown has assembled with Manny Diaz, with Bo Davis, with Darrell Wyatt, with Benny Wiley, and now with Bryan coming in, it's extremely exciting. And as a player, I am a former player. I'm happy where this program is and where it's going. So face may not say it, but I am absolutely upbeat about this and ready to roll. Just ready for January 18th to come and get these kids back on campus and let's get rolling. So before I go, my duties are to introduce Bryan, and guys, unbelievable. We've probably spent 4 or 5 hours together since Bryan's been in Austin, and I think probably 4.5 of those have been about football. So we're ready to hit it rolling, and want to introduce Bryan Harsin.
Well, thanks all for coming. I appreciate it, and I am excited to be here. And I know probably one of the first questions you guys are all wondering is the field going to change the color? And green is fine. I'm going to get used to it. So what a great opportunity. My family and I are so excited to be here. The tradition, the history, the type of program this is, we are just absolutely excited to be a part of it. And we left a great situation at Boise. And we said when we came here that the number one thing for us was going to be people. We knew we were going to come to a great place and we were going to like it. And we knew about the city is great. We've heard nothing but great things from our family and friends in Boise about Texas and Austin especially. But it was about people. And when we got here, the first person we met was Coach Brown's wife, Sally. And we knew right then that it was all about people. And we were sold at that point. And I think that's important for us. It's not just me coming. It's my family, my wife, Kess, my 3 children, my 2 daughters, Devin and Dane, my son, Davis. They're at home right now. I brought home some jerseys to them. They haven't taken them off. They got their hats on. They're excited, and we're trying to get them up here as fast as possible. I don't want to talk much more about this until I recognize where I came from, and I think this is very important. Boise State has been a great place for me. I grew up there. I played there. And had a lot of great memories in Boise. And I want to thank the fans for their support through the years as a player, as a coach. I want to thank our players and our staff for having an opportunity to work with them. They're as good as they come. And I had a wonderful experience with those guys, and I wish them the very, very best. I want to thank our athletic director, Gene Blameyer. He runs a very good program, great leadership, and I just appreciate the opportunity he gave me to work at Boise State. Our president at Boise State, Dr. Bob Custra, for his vision and the direction I know that program's going. I'm excited for him, and I know that with him at the helm, they're going to be just fine. And then I want to give a special thanks to Coach Chris Peterson. And he's a friend. He's my mentor. And I wouldn't be who I am today as a person, as a coach, without him. I appreciate his belief in me. I appreciate the opportunity he's given me. And I wish him the very best and continued success at Boise State. I know our expectations here. We got a championship program, we have a championship head coach, and it's my job to help put together a championship offense. And I'm looking forward to doing that and working with this staff that Coach Major just described and Coach Brown just described. I'm looking forward to recruiting in the state of Texas. I've had an opportunity to do that at Boise. We expanded out a little bit, and I'm looking forward to diving right into it and meeting these coaches, getting to know these players, the culture of Texas football, and I can't wait for that because that is so exciting to me, and I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to working with this staff, like I said, Darryl Wyatt, Major Applewhite, Bruce Chambers. I think we're, like Coach Major said, it's an effort that we're going to do this together. We're going to put our minds together. There's a lot of knowledge that's going to be in that room, and we're going to make this system the Texas system. And we're going to try to put our players in the best position to be successful. And we're going to utilize our players. I know we got good players here, and we're going to utilize them the best way we know how in this system. I want them to have fun. I want them to enjoy coming out to practice every day, that we have something new for them. It's creative, it's innovative. I want them to walk up and go, hey, what are we doing today, Coach? And I want them to be excited about that, because I know if they are, we're going to be just fine.